If everyone can also please silence your phones, that would be very much appreciated. Honored rabbis and guests, welcome and thank you all for coming tonight on this occasion to celebrate the 18th anniversary of Young Israel Memphis and the installation of our new Rav, Rabbi Akiva Ben. It's fitting that we celebrate the shul's 5th anniversary just a couple of weeks from Tu B'Shvat in the beautiful botanic garden surrounded by all of these trees. As the Torah is compared to a tree of life, we look forward to sharing tonight in tremendous words of Torah and delicious food and company as we reflect on 18 years of Torah, Tefillah, and Tequila, as well as plan for amazing things to come at the Young Israel Memphis under the leadership of Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Samuel. I would like to take just a moment to thank Jason Kaplan for the wonderful music that we enjoyed. Michael Francis of Heart and Soul Catering for the delicious food, of which Running Cody Productions for the video that we'll enjoy later tonight. I would like to also thank Michelle Katz, Rick Braverman, and Neil Sauer for the amazing job on decor, as well as some of the volunteers. Dina Golblack, Eula Golder, Anita Pizer, and Sarah Bracha Williams, who spent the whole morning this morning standing up for us. You've all played a part in making this a truly beautiful evening, and we're so appreciative. Over Shabbos, we are so fortunate to have had Nathan Lewin as a guest of honor, and for the many of you who are in attendance at his talks at the CLE, the Friday Night Oneg, Shabbos Day, and Malava Malka, it was clear that we were graced by the presence and wisdom of a great pioneer and champion for Jewish freedom and religious rights. Coming off the high of this past weekend, we're thrilled to welcome our keynote speaker at our dinner tonight, Rabbi J.J. Schacter, professor of Jewish history and Jewish thought at the Center for the Jewish Future at Yeshiva University. Rabbi Dr. Schacter is one of the leading American Jewish thinkers, prolific writer, and world-renowned rabbin speaker, and we look forward to hearing more from him this evening. We're also fortunate to have with us tonight Rabbi Mark Volk, the Executive Director of the National Council of Young Israel. Rabbi Volk received his SME coronation from Yeshiva Rabbeinu Yitzchak Al-Hanan, as well as a Master of Science degree in Jewish Education from Yeshiva University. Rabbi Volk recently joined Young Israel after serving for many years as the Executive Director of the American Friends of Yeshiva Karabiavna, as well as Director of Midwest Region of NCSY, and as Rabbi of the Young Israel of New York. As Executive Director of the National Council of Young Israel, Rabbi Volk endeavors to develop lasting partnerships with all of the Young Israel congregations, rabbis, and membership across the nation. We are excited to have Rabbi Volk join us tonight and are honored to have him share a few words with us now.
Rabbi Lehrfield, Rabbi Finkelstein, your Rabbi Males, Rabbi Jacob J. Schacter, and all other rabbis who are here, and all of you, many of you who are my dear friends for many years. I just remarked to Michael Krupp that perhaps some of these remarks have been refuted by some of you, but I don't believe them to be true. In the walks of my professional life throughout North America, I would say that per capita, this Torah community stands at the height of the greatest significance of Jewish communities of its time. With 10,000 Jews, what has been accomplished here throughout the years, and you know what has been accomplished, is a tribute to every one of you and all that you have accomplished during the course of your being in this community. With the great Torah leadership that you now have with Rabbi Males, and with other rabbis as well, I believe in many ways this congregation, Young Israel of Memphis, is a flagship congregation in which many congregations throughout North America can take a good look and see what has been accomplished. Just a brief word about yesterday's Parsha. The whole question in the Medrash is, who is greater, Moshe or Aaron? Because if you look in chapter 6, Perek Vav, Pesukim Chav Vav and Chav Zayin, 26-27, so the words Moshe and Aaron are interchanged. Sometimes it says Moshe, Aaron, Aaron, Moshe. What is it? who's the greatest leader? So seemingly we would think that based on the Rambam, that certainly the Moshe Rabbeinu, because of his great prophetic powers, his great prophetic ability, that he is the greatest leader, he's the most significant leader of the Jewish people. But the Medrash says that no, that the equation here with the two names may indicate that while Moshe Rabbeinu has certain qualities, Aaron also has certain qualities. And the focus of each and every individual in the realm of leadership, every person here, your president, Jonathan Kaplan, and all of you who have worked with him to create such a beautiful dinner with this installation for Rabbi Males, each and every one of you is a leader because leadership means the fulfillment of potential. And what of that potential will be realized? And so as I develop my work with each and every shul, and Dina just said it so beautifully, that we're interested in a partnership and a friendship in developing each and every congregation, particularly this one this evening, on a higher level, to see that maybe even that this congregation can be a great example to all of the other young Israels in North America. So I thank you for giving me this opportunity to be here this evening, and I want to wish Rabbi Males and his Rebbetzin much hatzlacha, and all of you much hatzlacha as well, as you help Rabbi Males and his Rebbetzin develop your very special Avodas HaKodesh. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us today as we celebrate the 18th anniversary of the Young Israel of Memphis. I want to start by thanking the dedicated and hardworking committee that put so much time into planning this entire celebratory weekend, especially Dr. Dina Davidowitz, John Wogan, Josh Kahane, and Young Israel's President, Jonathan Kaplan. Thank you very much. It's a real privilege for me tonight to introduce, or this afternoon rather, to introduce our keynote speaker, Rabbi Dr. Jacob J. Schacter, who has flown in from New Jersey to be with us and to mark this milestone. Chazal, our sages of the Mishnah, sing the virtues of someone who is bareach min hakavod, someone who despises honor so much that he or she literally runs away from honor. Do you know what Rabbi Schacter is planning to do as soon as he finishes his speech tonight? He will be on a plane back to New Jersey. Have you ever met someone who was such a bareach min hakavod? I'd like to start by reading Rabbi Schacter's biography so we all understand who we're privileged to have with us tonight. Rabbi Dr. Jacob J., or J.J. Schacter, as he's well known, is a university professor of Jewish history and Jewish thought, and senior scholar at the Center for the Jewish Future at Yeshiva University. Rabbi Schacter holds a PhD in Near Eastern Languages from Harvard University, and after studying in the Yeshiva of Philadelphia, as well as the Mir Yeshiva in Yerushalayim, he received his rabbinic ordination, or his smicha, from Mesivta Torah V'das in Brooklyn. He graduated from Brooklyn College in 1973, summa cum laude, and Phi Beta Kappa, with the Abraham S. Goodhart's Award for Excellence in Judaic Studies. Rabbi Dr. Schacter's affiliation with the Young Israel movement dates back to his first pulpit at the Young Israel of Sharon, Massachusetts, where he served from 1977 to 1981. In 1981, Rabbi Schacter became the senior rabbi of the famed Jewish Center in Manhattan, where he helped grow the congregation from 180 to 600 members during his tenure. He left the Jewish Center in 2000 to serve as the inaugural dean of the Rabbi Joseph B. Soloveitchik Institute in Boston. Rabbi Schacter is a deep thinker, prolific writer, and world-renowned speaker. He has taught at Harvard University, being awarded the prestigious Daniel Jeremy Silver Fellowship from the Department of Near Eastern Languages and Civilizations in 1995. In addition, Rabbi Schacter was the founding editor of the Torah U'Madda Journal, a prestigious academic publication that has gained international acclaim and served as director of Yeshiva University's Torah U'Madda project. In 2014, he was awarded the highly respected Chels Grant for publication assistance from Yeshiva University. Rabbi Schacter holds a number of prominent Jewish organizational positions. He served as the founding president of the Council of Orthodox Jewish Organizations of the Upper West Side of New York. From 1994 to 2000, is a member of the Board of Governors of the Orthodox Union, and is on the Educational Board of Tradition, Jewish Action, and BDD, which is a journal that stands for B'chol Derechecha De'ehu, out of Israel, and Jewish Educational Leadership. He was awarded several fellowships and grants to further his scholarly pursuits and research. Rabbi Schachter's last visit to Tennessee was 10 years ago, as the scholar in residence at the 2007 General Assembly of the United Jewish Communities in Nashville. Now that I've told you some of Rabbi Schachter's official biography, and something that might be available to the public, allow me to take a minute and to add something a bit more personal. Layla and I feel incredibly honored to know Rabbi Schacter on a personal level and to share this evening with him. How did our relationship develop? There are a few answers to that question. As you may know, there's a special working relationship that exists between the Orthodox Union, the OU, Yeshiva University, YU, acronyms just flow so much quicker, and the Rabbinical Council of America, the RCA. I joined the RCA in 2007, pretty much 10 years ago. I was soon introduced to the extraordinary staff at Yeshiva University Center for the Jewish Future, the CJF. Although I'm not an alumnus of Yeshiva University, the leadership of the CJF immediately reached out to me and offered me a very warm welcome. They let me know that as a member of their sister organization, the RCA, they were happy to share their resources with me in order to assist me in my role as a congregational rabbi. True to their word, I was immediately invited to participate in a wide array of continuing rabbinic education opportunities that they offer. I took Yeshiva University's CJF up on their offer on many occasions, and I feel a great sense of hakaras hatov, or appreciation, for all that I've been able to gain from their programs and all that they have offered. Without doubt, the learning opportunities I gained the most from at those programs were those that were led by Rabbi Schacter. Learning from Rabbi Schacter as often as possible over the past 10 years has enhanced my knowledge of Torah and halacha, has recharged my spiritual batteries at different points in life, and in many ways, he's also broadened my horizons. In addition to being a true Talmid Chacham, a phenomenal teacher, a brilliant scholar, and a prolific author, Rabbi Schacter is also the warmest human being who takes a sincere interest in each and every one of his students and truly enjoys being able to help them achieve their own success and accomplishments. I'll conclude with a small vignette. And this will explain how I got to know and appreciate Rabbi Schacter even several years before I joined the RCA. In 2003, so that's 14 years ago, I was finishing up my years in yeshiva, and independent of my formal yeshiva studies, I also began researching a few different halachic topics that were and are of great interest to me. In the course of researching those matters, I discovered some of the halachic works of the great Rabbi Yaakov Emden, who was one of the rabbinic titans of the 18th century, who passed away in Germany in 1776. Some of Rabbi Emden's comments in his Sefer, he's got a wonderful Sefer on the section of halacha that we know in the Shulchan Aruch known as Orach Chaim. Many of us may not be familiar with this, but you'll see Mishnah Berurah quotes the Sefer all the time. It's called Morah Ketzia. Morah Ketzia is a commentary on the Shulchan Aruch Orach Chaim, and it's written by Rabbi Yaakov Emden. And some of his comments in there were extremely helpful in the research projects that I was looking into. And I soon found that the best edition of that Sefer had been recently republished by Machon Yerushalayim in Jerusalem, and it included terrific footnotes, and that helped me even more. Now, who was behind the publication of this new Sefer? The title page in the Sefer credited Rabbi Yaakov Yosef Schacter, or we know him as Rabbi J.J. Schacter, who worked so hard to get the Sefer published, together with all of those footnotes. I purchased a copy for myself, and it was incredibly helpful. I became fascinated to learn more about Rabbi Yaakov Emden, and after a little more research, I started finding articles online and in print about him that were written by that same Rabbi Jacob J. Schacter, who published at Morah Ketzia. I devoured all of his articles voraciously. I soon learned that Rabbi Schacter was one of the world's leading experts on anything involving Rabbi Emden, and in fact had written his Harvard PhD dissertation on Rabbi Yaakov Emden. I purchased a copy for myself. Got that here. This I gave to myself as a Hanukkah present in 2003. I found it absolutely fascinating. I'm willing to share my footnotes with you, Rabbi. I reached out to Rabbi Schacter again in December of 2003, and I lamented to him that in the course of researching, I was trying to get to the bottom of one more topic that I was pursuing that involved Rabbi Yaakov Emden, and I saw sources that were referring to a little-known sefer of Rabbi Yaakov Emden that was known as Mitpachas Sfarim. And I commented to Rabbi Schacter, we were communicating by mail in those days, I commented to Rabbi Schacter that the only copy of Mitpachas Sfarim that I was able to find in Queens was in the New York Public Library at 42nd Street in Manhattan, and it was a very old edition, very hard to read print, and I couldn't make heads or tails through it. A couple days later, all of a sudden I saw a package arrived at my apartment in Queens. And I saw the return address was from Rabbi Schacter in Boston. I hurriedly opened it up and I was so excited to see what it contained. I was absolutely astonished to find this inside. Sure enough, Rabbi Schacter owns a copy of Mitpachas Sfarim, don't we all? We all own a copy of Mitpachas Sfarim. And Rabbi Schacter had an excellent printing of it that was no longer available in stores. He photocopied the entire sefer for me. The entire sefer, it's probably over 200 pages in here. Stood there at the photocopier and went ahead and copied that entire sefer for me. Now, who does something like that? Only someone who's a very warm person, a master teacher who wants to share his own intellectual resources with others so they can complete their own research and share their work with others. I hope this helps paint a small portrait of who Rabbi Schacter is as a human being, and it's why he's such a sought-after teacher, and he's so loved by so many of his students over the world. Just to conclude, while preparing for today, not only did I find this copy of Mitpachas Sfarim in one of my boxes that's not yet fully unpacked, but I also went ahead and I found the letter, a thank you letter that I wrote to Rabbi Schacter immediately after having received the Mitpachas Sfarim, and I also found the return letter that Rabbi Schacter went ahead and sent to me. And let me just share it with you because it's very concise. I went ahead in my letter and I thanked Rabbi Schacter profusely for what he had done, how he had photocopied that whole sefer, and how am I going to pay him back? So it was Rosh Chodesh Adar of Tafshin Samach Daled, it's February 22nd of 2004, I see in this letter. So I shared with him, I sat down and I wrote down over a page and a half of what I thought I was very excited about. It was an exciting Dvar Torah that I had just developed. I found an Avud Raham that helped defend a comment from the Magen Avram from a blistering critique from Rabbi Yaakov Emden. And I was very excited about it. I still am very excited about it. And I'll share it with the shul at Purim time. I think you'll enjoy it as well. And I thought perhaps that's what I could do to pay back Rabbi Schacter and thank him for that. And Rabbi Schacter, and this is a sign of someone's brilliance, was so concise. After my page and a half of exciting Dvar Torah, I have a 5-word response. Great Vort, Rov Todot, many thanks, V'hatzlacha. That's the success. Thank you very much. And you should know our sages do go ahead and sing the virtues of someone who knows how to be extremely concise. But I guarantee you this afternoon, as we enjoy the words of Rabbi Schacter, none of us will want him to be concise. We'll appreciate everything we have the opportunity to hear from here. Without further ado, it's an absolute privilege to introduce Rabbi Dr. Jacob J. Schacter.